I'm preparing braised pork shanks and smoked collard greens, and I'm pairing it with the Pinot Noir. The first thing I need to do is I need to get my pork shanks brined. I've got some water here and I've already got it good and hot, and I want to get all of these ingredients into that water. The main objective is to bring this to a boil to the point where the salt dissolves. So I'm starting with my salt. Got some onions, thyme, black peppercorn. I've got a head of garlic that I've halved. And I've got some cane syrup. Let me show you what the bottle looks like. So this is the bottle of cane syrup. I couldn't find any of this locally. I had to actually order this, and it came from Louisiana. So I'm gonna add my cane syrup. I want to bring this to a boil again so that everything dissolves. The salt dissolves. I was first inspired by Chef Mashama Bailey's recipe on Masterclass. That's where I first saw this, and I recreated it for myself, and it was so delicious, so enjoyable that I had to bring it to my channel and share it with you guys. So we got it boiled on the brine. I need to cool the brine because I want to get these into the brine, and this has to be absolutely chilled. So the quickest way for me to chill my brine, I've got a cooler with ice and a pot in the cooler, and the pot's really cold, so I'm able to pour this into that pot and immediately start to chill it. I've got my brine completely chilled. My pork shanks are gonna go into the brine. I'm gonna brine these overnight. You can brine them up to 24 hours. So once we're done with brining these, I'm gonna pull them out of the refrigerator. I'm gonna stick them on a rack and stick them back in the refrigerator and allow them to dry out for a little bit. If I were to try to sear them straight out of the brine, it wouldn't work because they're too wet. So we wanna air dry them. All right, I got my pork shanks out of the brine. What I did was I placed them in this sheet pan on this rack so that they could get air around them, and I put them in the refrigerator for 6 hours so that we could get a little drying on them. If I would have tried to brown them right out of the brine, they would have been too wet to get a brown on them. So I've got them dried. I've got this Dutch oven hot. I'm gonna go ahead and get them browned, seared in here. All right, so I'm gonna start with a little bit of oil. Got my pork shanks here. Right into the pan with the shanks. I got my pork shanks seared. I need to get rid of this excess grease that I have in here, this excess fat. So into this pan, I'm gonna add my onions. I've got some white wine and cane syrup. All right, so I've got some onions, white wine, I've got some cane syrup. So I'm gonna deglaze the pan with this mixture. I'm gonna bring it to a simmer. I'm gonna allow this to simmer for about 15 minutes. All right, so my onions are cooking down nicely. I need to put together everything for the braise. I've got some bay leaves, some allspice, and some black peppercorn. They're gonna go in this mesh bag and they're gonna go into the braising liquid. So into this mesh bag, I'm gonna place my bay leaves, my black peppercorns, And I've got some allspice. I'm gonna crush my allspice. Place that into the bag. So I'm just gonna fold my bag up. I've got some butcher's twine. I'm gonna tie it up really nice and tight. Cut off the excess string, and we're good to go. All right, I'm gonna add my pork shanks back to the Dutch oven. I've got some beef stock here, or beef broth that I've warmed up. Add that, just enough to cover the shanks. So I'm gonna throw in my sachet. So as I mentioned, my oven's preheated to 350 degrees. I'm gonna stick this in there and braise it for 3 hours. This is Chef Mashama Bailey's recipe. I was absolutely inspired by this recipe and I wanted to share it with you. She's doing fantastic things down in Savannah. She's got the Gray, which is an old Greyhound bus station that she's converted into an award-winning restaurant. She's a James Beard Award winner. Her restaurant has been voted one of the best restaurants in the world by Food and Wine magazine. The list goes on and on of her accolades, and so it's just a pleasure doing this recipe. In her recipe and her demonstration on Masterclass, she used a method where she took the wood chips and she heated them up in a cast iron pan on the stove. Now I'm gonna include the link, or I'm going to include the instructions for that method with the recipe, but I'm lucky enough to have a smoking gun. So as opposed to heating up chips to smoke mine, I'm just gonna use this smoking gun. So I've got this plastic setup here with a perforated insert, and basically Chef Bailey used the same thing. She basically, again, she put the aluminum foil underneath this so that the smoke could go through the holes to smoke the greens. I'm gonna place my collard greens in the pan here, or in the container. I'm gonna close it up. So I've got my smoker, smoking gun, and I'm just gonna place some chips on the screen here. Now these greens are supposed to smoke for about 20 to 25 minutes. Stick my hose in the bottom here. Get my gun going. I'm just gonna fill it up with smoke. I'm gonna put cover it with my towel. Try to trap as much of the smoke as I can. While the greens are smoking, I'm gonna add some olive oil to my pan. I've got some leeks, onion, and I've got some shallots. My greens have been smoking for about 20 minutes. Nice smoky aroma. I've got my onions, shallots, and leeks here that I've been slowly sauteing for about 5 minutes or so. I'm gonna add my smoked collard greens to the pot. Got some water. I'm gonna add some salt. I'm gonna bring these to a simmer and I'm gonna cook them for about 45 minutes. All right, so my pork shanks have been braising for 3 hours. Let's check them out. If you're enjoying the video, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. Nice and tender. So I'm gonna pull these shanks out and I'm gonna sit them to the side. So I'm gonna pull out the sachet and I wanna reduce this. I'm gonna get this up to a little boil and I'm gonna simmer it on medium. I wanna reduce it for about 15 minutes or so. I want a nice thicker sauce. All right, I've got my sauce reduced. Seriously reduced, nice and thick. I'm gonna add my pork shanks back into the sauce. And I wanna flip these over and kind of coat them in that sauce. I've chosen the 2022 Rochioli Pinot Noir. It's Russian River Valley. It's 100% estate grown Pinot Noir. I've chosen Pinot Noir because I think the acidity in Pinot Noir balances the richness of braised pork. It also balances the richness and the bitterness of collard greens. Very light in color. Nice fruit on the nose, cherries, red apple. Get some floral notes, like roses, a little bit of rose. Let's see what's working with on the palate. Medium acidity, nice vibrant fruit. This is a really young wine. It could really stand to be cellared for a few more years, but it's really good. Really, it's approachable now. Young, zippy fruit. Like I said, cherry. There's some apple. There's somewhat of a minty element to it. I'm not sure whether it's eucalyptus or something leaning towards mint, something in that area. I'm thinking eucalyptus is what I'm getting here. Light body, nice and fresh, young. This might do it. My pork shanks and smoked collard greens are done. All right, I'm ready to plate it up. I'm just gonna place my collard greens on this platter. Now I'm gonna place my pork shank right on top. Spoon some of the sauce on top of the pork shanks. So I'm ready to try my pork shanks and smoked collard greens. I'm gonna get it with a spoon. That's how tender I know it is. Digging right in. Collard greens first. There's 3 types of onions that we put in the collard greens. We got the leeks, the white onions, and the shallots. And remember, I sweated them kind of slowly, extracted all that flavor from them, and the slight smoke from the smoking of the collard greens, unique. Delicious. The pork. Delicious. Pork is brined, perfectly seasoned, so tender. That's good. All right, let's see if it pairs. That is delicious. That is fantastic. Oh yeah, the pork and the collard greens. Pinot Noir is loving that, but I gotta double check. I'm gonna get another little piece because I'm gonna make sure that I get the sauce that's on top of that. All right. This dish, I believe, is perfect for the holidays. It's perfect for Christmas, perfect for Thanksgiving. I envision a table full of food. I envision a turkey. I envision a ham. I envision some braised pork shanks with smoked collard greens, some macaroni and cheese. You get the picture. I envision this on a table in a much larger feast, this being one part of it. Although this is great standalone. So let's double check here. Greens are delicious. Pork is delicious with that oniony sauce. And it indeed is a perfect pairing. I'm Chef Glenn B, and as always, eat well.